Hello, been a long time. This is Wendell Coleman going live on them Facebooks. We're going to get started right away. We have a lot to cover, not a lot of time. Today's primary focus, as promised, is going to be about the Napa County Sheriff Coroner Interim Oscar Ortiz, his relationship with his brother Alfonso Ortiz, and the potential corruption that is taking place within the ranks. We are also going to be discussing Allison Haley, the district attorney, who is the chair of the Napa Special Investigations Bureau, and she is also the president of If Given a Chance nonprofit, which they allege they help our people. Yeah, right. So let's just roll into it. Hello all. We would like to share some information about what is going on in the community. This is just information, so do with it as you see fit. I want to say first and foremost, everything that we discussed is backed up by evidence. We have submitted a tremendous amount of FOIA requests. We have acquired a lot of documents regarding these two topics that we are going to be approaching today. Everything that we discuss is based on evidence that cannot be refuted, rebutted, denied, but only digested by those who are watching and paying attention to what's going on in the community. So let me start out with some fun facts regarding the two topics at hand. The Napa Valley Register broke the story on Alfonso Ortiz on May 2nd, 2022 at 1700 hours. The Board of Supervisors had an emergency meeting on May the 2nd, 2022 at 1300 hours. I personally pulled the information from a Freedom of Information Act request in mid-April and got the files that I will be sharing momentarily on April the 29th, 2022. This information about Alfonso Ortiz has been available since July of 2021. Think about that. These dates are important. They're very relevant. The other fun fact is that Allison Haley is the president of If Given a Chance, a nonprofit based in Napa. Allison Haley is also chair of the board of the Napa Special Investigations Bureau. The nonprofit, If Given a Chance, has received a gift from seized assets from Napa Special Investigations Bureau in the amount of $10,000 in May of 2021. Again, pay attention to the dates. The financial records are not accessible to the public as they typically are posted on the website of a nonprofit entity. For example, if you look at Aldea's financial records, which is a nonprofit in Napa that gets an allocation of roughly $12 million a year to help roughly 600 women in the community that are suffering from domestic violence, which is a serious issue. But they disclose all of their financials. You can see the $44 million worth of assets and financial allocations that they have for their staff. So I want everyone to keep in mind these financial records should be made available to the public. Allison Haley's nonprofit, If Given a Chance, does not disclose that information. They have a wonderful list of all the people that are giving donations, but where is the money going? That is the question. There's a very clear conflict of interest here. Some questions that I have, and that you should have also. Why has Captain Gary of the Napa Police Department, Captain Gary Pitkin, had to beg for assistance for an investigation for over 6 months? How come Allison Haley has or will not prosecute or investigate Alfonso Ortiz? Alfonso Ortiz is a Napa Police Department officer who worked with the Napa Special Investigations Bureau. It's a multi-tier, multi-department conglomerative effort to manage and stop crime, drug deals, prostitution, trafficking, things of that nature. How is it possible for Alfonso Ortiz to have a job with another police department already? Why has Interim Sheriff Coroner Oscar Ortiz not ordered an investigation? Why did the city of Napa hire Alfonso Ortiz knowing that he already had a long history of police misconduct? Why did John Crawford get fired just as the position of Sheriff Coroner was becoming available? Did John Robertson resign by choice, or was there a pending investigation? These are questions that we need to ask, and these are questions that we need answers to. Can someone recuse themselves from an investigation and still order the investigation? If yes, then why has no investigation been performed? I will be showing documents proving that Allison Haley recused herself from the investigation, as well did Oscar Ortiz. Captain Gary Pitkin wrote 2 memorandums asking the Department of Highway Patrol for assistance to investigate this matter, and he wrote a letter to the to the Department of Justice for assistance for investigation, and he wrote a letter to the Napa Sheriff's Department for assistance regarding this investigation. The Department of Justice responded with they did not see any justifiable reason or legitimate reason for the District Attorney Allison Haley to recuse herself from the investigation. Now pay attention. She was able to recuse herself from the investigation, yet she does not understand arm's length when it comes down to getting $10,000. Let's get into this. Like I said, everything that we present will be based on evidence. So anyone can fill out a FOIA request to the county clerk, John Tudor. He will fight you tooth and nail to release this information a lot of the time, but eventually you will get it if you're tenacious. So let's roll into this. So what I have here is case number NSD 21002418. This is a case summary report from the Napa Sheriff's Office regarding an incident. So the incident location is 1535 Airport Boulevard in Napa. The officer investigating is Officer Carlisle. Good man, stand-up officer. The description of the charges. Found property. Well, let's see, what did they find? Just look next to the number 2. A glass pipe. Oh. Number 3, a Walmart bag. Number 4, a Ziploc with crystalline substances. This is from the police report. I'm not making this up. Another glass pipe. Another glass pipe. A brown bag. A brown bag. Okay. Again, we will present all the evidence. Line item 8, Ziploc with crystalline substance. Clear Ziploc bag. Crystalline bag with substance. Okay? All right, here in black and white for everyone to see. What's that? Huh? Number 11, bag with black tar substance. 12, clear Ziploc bag. 13, glass pipe with residue in it. For everyone to see, okay? Digital scale with a yellow dot on it. Digital scale oval. A brown bag. Right here. Check it out. A Calvin Klein case. A Ziploc bag with white powder. Small Ziploc bag with white powder. There it is. Not making this up. Okay. I'm going to read the narrative and notes from the case. I met with Lieutenant Blank so to assist with clearing out a property from the NSIB sergeant's office. Personal property from the room was collected and taken under the control of Lieutenant Blank. During the clean out of the office, several controlled substance and paraphernalia items were located. I took custody of these items and booked them into Napa Sheriff Office in evidence pending further disposition. A description of the items located and where they were retrieved from is listed below. A purple zippered Vivitar pouch was located near the computer monitor, which contained a glass smoking pipe with residue on it. A Walmart plastic bag was located balled up under the right side of the computer monitor mount. Inside the Walmart bag was a Ziploc baggie with a white crystalline substance inside it and 2 glass pipes and residue in them. The crystalline substance inside the Ziploc baggie was later NIC tested by the unit, by me using kit U and turned to dark blue, indicating presumptive positive for methamphetamine. What? In the overhead office cabinet closest to the window, I located 2 unmarked brown paper bags, which each contained items. The first bag contained a Ziploc type bag and white crystalline substance inside. I used the property room digital scale to determine a gross weight amount of 53.31 grams. I utilized the NIC test kit U, which resulted in a dark blue color indicated presumptive positive for methamphetamine. Another clear Ziploc style bag was located inside the brown bag, which contained a crystalline substance inside. I utilized the scale to determine a gross approximate weight of 39.9 grams. I utilized the NIC kit U, which turned a pink color. I then utilized NIC kit G on the substance, which resulted in a pink over clear result. I was not able to determine the substance type. Also, inside the brown bag was a small twist-tied bag with a black tar substance inside, and used the scale to determine a gross approximate weight of 4.45 grams. The brown bag also contained a Ziploc bag with a glass pipe and with residue. There was also 2 digital scales located inside the brown bag. Inside the second brown bag, I observed a Calvin Klein eyeglass case with 2 small Ziploc baggies inside. The first baggie had a white powder inside it, and the property room scale indicated a gross approximate weight of 0.83 grams. Utilizing the NIC kit U, I noticed the sample turned dark blue, indicating presumptive positive for methamphetamine. The other small Ziploc had the words "Fine Apple," imprinted on it and contained a white powdery substance. The scale indicated a gross approximate weight of 1.17 grams. And I utilized the NIC U unit, utilizing NIC kit U, I saw a dark blue color result indicating a presumption positive for methamphetamine. All the items were packaged by me and booked into evidence. Napa Sheriff Officer Locker 16. Case closed. It's going to show you the top there, straight up. This is a report that anyone can get. Utilize that FOIA request. Excuse me. Okay. Supplemental notes. On August 10, 2021, I met with Napa Sheriff Officer Blank to search and collect items from Napa Special Investigations Bureau Sergeant Ortiz's work office. I was designated to locate and collect Sergeant Ortiz's personal items, work property, and equipment from his office. Captain Blank located numerous items and contraband in Ortiz's office that were seized and booked into evidence at the Napa Sheriff's Office. Report number NSD 21-2418. I later inventoried and returned Ortiz's work equipment into our Napa Police Department storage and equipment room. On 8/23, I met with Napa Sheriff Office Under Sheriff Blank at the Napa Sheriff Office in response to Napa Police Department Captain Gary Pitkin's request to review the found items located in Captain Blank's search from 8/10. Captain Pitkin advised that there may be missing or lost evidence related to case NPD 21-1686, which involved Sergeant Ortiz assisting in the investigation. I met with Napa Sheriff Office property personnel and reviewed for the following evidence. Glass meth, smoking pipe. Glass meth, smoking pipe. Suspected methamphetamine, unknown weight. Suspected methamphetamine, 8.83 grams. Suspected methamphetamine, 1.17 grams. Black tar substance. Suspected heroin, 4.5 grams. Suspected methamphetamine, 53.31 grams. suspected methamphetamine, 39.3 grams. Once again, when we report, we bring the evidence. Napa Police Department report 21-1686. I cannot positively identify the items are the same. However, based on the size and description of the above items found by Captain Blank on 8/10/21 from Sergeant Ortiz's office, from report Napa Sheriff's Department 21-2418, it is reasonable to assume they are the same items seized and quote-unquote misplaced. At this time, the $1,700 cash has not been located. Okay, let's keep it 100. I advised Captain Pitkin of my findings, thus concluding my assignment. I'm reading this from a report, y'all. This isn't just coming off the top. I'm not making any of this up. So, should I read this one? This is just more evidence of the testing of the materials found. So I won't read that. It's becoming redundant. This is redundant as well. But we have all the evidence right there. So what I want to know is why in a situation where evidence is clearly missing from a case with the police department that Alfonso Ortiz was directly involved with, when he's called to be questioned about the missing evidence, he resigns in July of 2021. He's like, I'm not answering any questions, which is, is an amendment right. So you got to applaud him for that, exercising his rights. So he skips, okay? Never has to face the music, never has to be held accountable. But wait, we have District Attorney Allison Haley, who you had better believe will prosecute anybody with drug possession, paraphernalia. The police, the policy enforcers of Napa will go out, pull someone over, find a little bag. You better believe they're going to get charged, they're going to get processed, they're going to end up getting on probation or going to some sort of a program, whatever the repercussions are from that possession charge. Possession with intent for sales, because let's keep in mind the district attorney office constantly incite charges. So if you get busted with a pipe and some dope, like 0.83 grams, and you have $400 on you, more than likely, you're gonna have like 7 or 8 charges coming out of the Napa District Attorney's office, even though you have drugs on you for personal use. And hopefully, actually, I'm not gonna be funny about that. So the question here is, with all this evidence found, the fact that in a police report it's saying it is safe to assume that this is the missing or misplaced evidence from a Napa police investigation, why has this man not been prosecuted? Well, probably because the Board of Supervisors went on ahead and stepped over John Crawford, right? He got fired for reasons I don't think he can disclose because he took the $500,000 settlement, but I would love to know the details of why they claimed he was fired. I believe John Crawford is a good man. I am hoping and praying that he is a constitutional sheriff, deputy, and I hope he is out there to do what is in the best interest of the people. I don't believe that the Board of Supervisors is doing what is in the best interest of the people by stepping over him after John Robertson's retirement and plucking Oscar Ortiz out and placing him in charge of the Napa Sheriff's Department and over the entire county. Because once again, the Napa Sheriff Coroner is the highest ranking law enforcement official in the county, period, hands down, no one underneath him. I think that activity or that move was very suspicious to say the least. This is a personal thought, so I'm going to deviate a little bit from the fact-based evidence because we don't have all of this just yet. But we are working on an investigation into why John Robertson resigned. There are rumors circulating and documents available, but we don't have them ready to present today, that indicate that there was a potential encouraging of resigning by John Robertson. But I want to get him on the phone and get his side of the story before I do an official report on it. So your brother, Oscar Ortiz, is now the head honcho in Napa County and has the ability to investigate, but he recused himself from the investigation. Why would he do that? Okay? A brother's love is a brother's love. Straight up. What's the movie with Nicolas Cage in it? With Eleanor, the unicorn, the Mustang? Does anyone know that? Anyone out there? No one can help me? Okay. Well, I just had it in my... Gone in 60 seconds, baby. A brother's love is a brother's love. If my brother needed my help, I would definitely do anything and everything I can for him. So from that perspective, I get it. But you have a job to do. And your first priority is to the people. Your first priority is to protect and safeguard our constitutional rights in a way that is not showing discrimination, favoritism, and conduct that is unethical. If somebody has a bag of dope in their office, several bags of dope in their office, and $1,700 is still missing, perhaps you don't go and make an arrest, but you certainly have the ability to have an investigation performed. How do I know that? Well, because other information has become privy to me regarding some foul and fraudulent activity in Napa. So I called up the sheriff coroner, sent him 3 emails. On the 4th email that I sent him with a plethora of evidence proving that there was fraudulent activity taking place at the public defender's office, he had Sheriff Deputy Donald Maiden call me to investigate. Okay? So in a way, he kind of, he pushed himself away from it and gave it to somebody that worked underneath him. Why can't he do the same thing for his brother? Keep your hands off of it, sure, but give it to a good deputy, a constitutional deputy like Donald Maiden, who I've had fruitful conversations with about civil rights, what the job is about, and where he stands. He's a good man. I applaud him. And I applaud Captain Gary Pitkin from the Napa Police Department also, because he's going against the grain. He's asking for help, and no one's giving it to him. But we have... I can get started. Stay on track here. So here we have the press release. Okay? Anyone can find this if you simply Google NSIB charitable gift of $10,000. Okay? I'm going to read this to you quickly. I don't want to take up a lot of time. Napa County District Attorney Allison Haley announces today that the Napa Special Investigations Bureau has invested, okay? That means they're going to get something back. $10,000 of asset forfeiture funds back into the Napa community by way of gift to the nonprofit if given a chance. NSIB is an investigative collaboration made up of team members from the Napa Sheriff's Department, Napa Police Department, Napa County Probation, California Highway Patrol, St. Helena Police Department, Calistoga Police Department, and Napa County District Attorney's Office. Well. Remember, Allison Haley is the district attorney. Allison Haley is the president of If Given a Chance nonprofit, and Allison Haley is chair of the Napa Special Investigations Bureau. I think she's taking notes from out of the Alfredo Pedroza handbook when she doesn't understand that conflict of interest, arm's length, is a policy that needs to be recognized and implemented when taking and receiving money and performing activity that could lead into profit. Now, of course, I've already gone out of my way and filed a formal complaint with the FPPC, and they're eating it up. So we'll see how that works out. But that is not enough. Each and every one of us has a responsibility to stay on top of what is going on with our money and our funds. Now I'm going to start to kind of close this out. Sweating a little bit. It's warm where I'm at. Currently in Southern California. Just so I can stay out of jail. Because every time I start to get involved with community activity and exposing things, they were sending the probation department, against me to arrest me on false charges and things like that. For example, stalking, even though I haven't seen this person since 2017. Harassing on social media, even though this person is looking at my social media content, which is a First Amendment protected activity. So they still utilize the probation department as a tool to intimidate and impose fear. But I'm not worried about it. I'm going to march forward. Anyways, moving along, trying to maintain focus. I apologize for the deviation. Issues of concern we will be reporting on supporting irrefutable evidence in the near future. And we have a lot of this evidence already. The District Attorney Office violating Sixth Amendment due process rights and law by not disclosing complete discovery on a regular basis, which is Brady versus Maryland. Prosecutor Amy McLeod altering minute orders and mailing them to the Northern District Court in July of 2019, which is mail fraud, obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence. We have the minute orders, so we're going to be sharing that. The Public Defender's Office operating without being affirmed to position by being sworn in and having an oath of office on file until April 5th, 2022. We have the FOIA request and all documents of recently signed oaths of office. What, you don't believe me? Well, how about this? Like I said, everything we do, we will have the documents. Notice the date down there, April 5th, 2022. Okay? Shazam, Shazam, Shalom. Signed by Ronald Abernathy. This is for, what does that say? This is Sang No Wins No Win right here. April 5th. Anyone can go onto the county clerk's website, find my unpublished FOIA request regarding this matter, and see that I have all of their oaths of office from the Public Defender's Office, none of which were signed, up until April 5th, 2022. What does that mean? That means that they were never legally in position of office, because it states in California Code, in the California Constitution, Article 3, Section 20, that they shall take the oath of office prior to taking position. So they were never in position of oath of office until April the 5th, 2022, based on a FOIA request that we filed, knowing that there was suspect activity going on. Now, we also have a short list of personnel that did not have oaths of office on file. You see that? Even if you can't see it, I'm going to read it to you. Maybe it's coming in upside down on your end. These individuals did not have oaths of office on record. Okay? County Counsel Jeffrey Brax, County Counsel Douglas Parker, who... Stay on focus here. I can't. So, County Counsel Douglas Parker showed up at a hearing in court with me, and he was asking fiduciary officer Elliot Ortiz to ban me from all public buildings, because this is in 2019 and 20, when we were going around and exposing them for stealing our money, committing fraud, not wearing masks, and basically contradicting their own policies, enforcing these policies by way of threat of fining for great community-based companies like Buttercream Bakery, you know, and all of our restaurants. They were threatening them with economic sanctions and things like that during the COVID era. Okay, what up, Serge? What up, baby? Hey, how you doing, Mindy? Appreciate y'all showing up. So, sitting Judge Joseph Solga was never sworn in. He never had. Can you see that? He never had his oath of office on record. Yet here he is, a sitting judge, performing fraud in the courtroom. So we're going to get into that too. All right. The public pretenders failing to provide adequate service to defendants, as they are insufficiently funded and outfunded in comparison to the district attorney's office 3-1. The lack of the public pretenders' ability to acquire expert witnesses due to these budgetary deficiencies that are a Sixth Amendment violation, supported by documents generated by the grand jury. Anyone can go online, download the annual budget report of NAPA, look at the budget allocation for NAPA District Attorney's Office, and compare and contrast that to the budget allocation for the Public Defender's Office, and you will see they're basically running on fumes, whereas the District Attorney's Office has unlimited resources, roughly around $12 million worth. You should also check out the salaries of these individuals through transparencycalifornia.com, where District Attorney Allison Haley is pulling in $355,000 a year. That's crazy. Anyways, other topics we'll be covering: the NAPA law enforcement. This is big. NAPA law enforcement coaching victims of domestic violence to get charges filed. We have the body-worn camera footage and witnesses who were coached on what to say. So we have women that are willing to come forth and be like, yeah, here's what happens. Here's how it goes down, okay? This goes to the desire to prosecute 273.5 corporal injury versus simple battery and other lower forms of domestic violence because it triggers the 273.81 spending code for federal and state funding. So in other words, the district attorney is going out of her way to prosecute these specific crimes because they get state and federal funding for prosecuting them and all types of resources. Specific NAPA law enforcement officers, deputies, inadequate training, which leads to false arrests. These arrests include an unusually high number of baseless resisting arrests, baseless criminal threats, and a host of other charges. So, okay, we have information supported by transcripts. Okay, police officers, if you're out there and you're afraid to do the job, the Napa County Clerk is hiring. Okay, if you're and I have high regard for law enforcement. I really do. But if you're pulling your weapon out because somebody called you a name, used profanity on you, and then that person ends up getting charged with a criminal threat and resisting arrest, or you arrest somebody who's sitting on their couch and yelling, and you call in a SWAT team, and you're asking people across the street to get up on their roof to set up sniper shots in Alta Heights, yeah. We got the body-worn camera footage. We got the transcripts. We have it all. What's up, L? Let me see that. Sheriffs, yep. All the time. All the time. Illegal searches, warrantless searches. And we also have warrants that aren't even legally signed. We have warrants that were executed, okay, signed at, say, 8:37 in the a.m., and then we check the logs of what judges were where, and they were sitting on the bench. How are you going to sign a warrant while you're sitting on the bench in court? Of course, we checked out the video and made sure that no one served many papers. He didn't sign nothing. So we got that all on video. Excuse me. It's hot here. Ooh, boy, it's hot. It could be these documents, though. These are some hot docs. So we have that. We have investigated and we have information on law enforcement police shootings, murders, that were cleared as clean shoots by Allison Haley, where the body-worn camera footage, incident reports, and witness testimony show otherwise. You can YouTube the video, the body-worn camera footage of David Molina. Okay? You can access the report on the DA's website and take a peek if you want to, take a look for yourself before we present and draw the conclusion that comes to you organically. But I'll tell you right now, I noticed those 223 round shells from a jammed AR-15 right next to the apartment number, I think it's 216. We went out there to the scene. We reenacted the entire event. We looked at the evidence. We placed the material where it was according to the pictures from the investigations, and we believe that he was murdered. Hands down, he was murdered. Upon arrival, when the officer pulled up, he had his AR-15 out, ready to roll. Okay? So we're going to be reviewing that story and, the murder of my friend Richard Posha. It just makes me so angry what they do. Anyways, sorry, I'm a little emotional about that one. Give me 1 second. Your take. Okay, I'm back. And I apologize for that. Forgive me for my emotions, but it's very frustrating to know that these lives cannot be taken back, and I really do miss people. Moving right along. Well, we're going to be discussing, where does the funding go received from federal and state spending codes? Are these allocations being recirculated back into the pockets of public officials by charging consulting fees and accepting gifts and donations? We're going to be discussing the probation department violating civil rights of members of the community by telling them that they must get special permission from a probation officer to put themselves on calendar with the court to manage their court cases. the probation department providing meritless reports the court uses to determine sentence recommendations, warrantless bail amounts and conditions, and recommendations that fall outside of the scope of principles and purpose of probation. We're going to be talking about, I can't help it. So another thing that you can go and take a peek at on your own right now is you can go to Transparency California and look at Julie Baptista's pay from the year of 2020. She has 2 jobs. She has 2 different jobs from one department. Getting paid, I think, $180,000 from one as chief probation officer, and then getting $45,000 as a typist. Bet you didn't think that'd be caught. Caught it. Got him. We're going to be discussing the extraordinarily high pay for public officials in NAPA, which is 126% higher than the average in California, and higher than the rest in the areas where the cost of living is even higher, like San Francisco, Menlo Park, Menlo Atherton, which is the wealthiest area in California per capita. There is also pay anomalies, which I just discussed. I couldn't help it. There are also pay anomalies to some public officials that get paid for multiple positions working in a single department. Anyone can visit transparencycalifornia.com to view all the pay of any and all public officials. We're going to be discussing the $1 billion shareholder fund controlled and managed by Robert Minahan. What? Thought everybody would be interested in this one, so I printed it out. You can go to the department, to NAPA Treasurer, go to Archives or Reports, and you can see, let me see the big B, is it on there? Oh yeah, here it is. $1 billion. $1 billion. Billion with a B. Okay? Now, the last time I checked the annual budget for Napa County alone, it was $568 million that the Board of Supervisors are responsible for allocating. They don't tap into this $1 billion fund, and what's really cool is the archive, because they hide everything in plain sight. We're just too lazy to actually do any work to find out what's going on. It's right there on the website. You hit that archive and go all the way back to the beginning where they were building arcs. Okay. Here is the relationship to policy information, page 7 from the report from March of 2022. All investments are consistent with the county investment policy. There is a sufficient liquidity to cover all anticipated cash flow needs of the pool participants for the next 6 months. Are you a pool participant? Who are the pool participants? I'll give you a hint. Courts. Okay. Safety equals there are no at-risk investments in the portfolio during this reporting period. Line item 2. Liquidity. 14.51% of the portfolio matures within 90 days. $130 million are available on a daily basis, and $46.2 million could be liquidated at a $276,000 profit daily. That's right there, y'all. I'm not making this up. I can't make this up. There were no when-issued trades, nor were there any swaps of securities. There were no reverse repurchases, agreements, or securities lending transactions. Who cares about all that? We saw the numbers. $1 billion. $1 billion with a B. Oh, I slipped up. We will be discussing County Clerk John Tudor charging $2 per page for copies of documents requested that are supposed to be free. County Clerk John Tudor fabricating stories of conflict to prevent access to public information, because we're sending people down to the county clerk's office to retrieve information. John Tudor made up some story about how some members of the team were being disrespectful. So I got on him. I was like, okay, I want to know who was there, what happened, when did it happen, and what took place. 3 weeks going back and forth on emails. He never came up with nothing. In the end, he had a misunderstanding. Why? I forget the names. But both ladies down there, they're wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful. They're great to work with. They give you the information that you ask for. And what John Tudor was doing, when he found out that I was emailing back and forth with a specific employee, I'm going to keep their names private because out of respect, he emailed me directly and said, hey, I don't want you or your team members dealing with any of my staff. You deal with me directly. I want to know in advance when you have people coming here and what you need in advance. I said, that's not going to happen, buddy. We're going to show up there tomorrow morning, in fact, because of this, and we're going to ask so-and-so for such and such, how do you like them apples? Because it's our absolute right. And that's how we were able to retrieve a lot of this information that they don't want you to have. As a matter of fact, I had to call Diane Dillon and get on her and have a conversation with her about the $2 fee. Well, lo and behold, I find out from a source inside the Board of Supervisors office that John Tudor is the one who recommended the $2 fee to the Board of Supervisors, and they approved it. I'm like, well, that goes against the policy of government policy, public policy 7310, and government policy of California 6253 AC. You can't be charging the people for that. And I was asking Diane Dillon, I said, hey, excuse me, this is going to be a different story. I'm sorry, stay focused. The Board of Supervisors, Alfredo Pedrosa's land investments surrounding Walt Winery, everyone knows about that, so we're going to be going into detail on that. Beth Nelson, big shout out to you for doing a wonderful job of bringing forth all the information, or a lot of information, surrounding that not illegal, but that unethical transaction, okay? Alfredo Pedrosa and Allison Haley, they know how to get that money. We'll be sharing information about the about the persecution of Wendell Coleman, the multitude of false arrests, failure to investigate incited charges, failure to allow the filing of claims and complaints when evidence supported the claims, discriminatory treatment by the courts, discrimination by specific law enforcement agents, and illegal court orders. We will be sharing information about Napa Court fiduciaries, okay, that's what they are, directly involved with the participation in parental alienation between myself and my lovely daughter Estelle. Our lovely daughter Estelle. I'm not like that. This topic encompasses all facets of leadership, prosecution, law enforcement, and fraud, as city council members, Board of Supervisors have all been made completely aware of what has taken place. We have the transcripts, we have the body-worn camera footage, and we have witness testimony. Now, in relation to what happened to me, go back to the fact that we have witnesses, okay? We have body-worn camera footage of a victim of domestic violence being coached by police officers. You can't beat that. We have body-worn camera footage, and we have witness testimony from women that have decided to do the right thing and discuss with us what really happens when you file. Now, I want to say this right here, right now. Don't let me find out that there's some domestic violence going on. I'm not with that at all. Not with that at all. Any man or woman that is suffering from any type of abuse whatsoever, get help. Call me. I'll do what I can for you. You know? But we need to address the issue of some people, men and women alike, that are utilizing government resources, okay, to fraudulently and to perform legal kidnappings against their exes because they're mad because someone was cheating, etc. But they're manipulating the system in order to take possession of children, and they are putting people in jail and in prison illegally. Coaxing, exactly. We just talked about that. What's up, L? Because they are coaching, and we will be providing that body-worn camera footage. We already have it. And just to let Napa law enforcement and all you guys out there know, because you guys have constantly dug into my files and things like that, you know we got people. You know it's a team. So everything is spread out. We got thumb drives. We got hard drives. We got CDs just in case that's not working. We got it all. What's up, girl? I miss you. I see you. Now, here's a little bit of information that I want to share back on topic. I forgot to add this in there. Can I do that? Let me see. Let me turn this around. Where's that option? Okay. So here we have Napa Special Investigations Bureau asset forfeiture in 2012. Okay? Look at all that money. Scribble, scratch paper. Annual total, $1 million. $1 million. Okay? So then you go to the report in 2013. Come on. Where are you? Here you are. Come right on. I should have printed this out, but I was a little busy. Where are you? Did I pass it? Oh, finally. Now we have. I just have to laugh here. Psilocybin, 35.1 grams, $3,500. If you paid $100 for psilocybin, $100,000 the next year. 100. You went from 1,000,000 to 100. Okay, that's, I guess, normal. 2014. $100,000. So, I mean, you guys get the drift here. Anyone can go on here and look at it. What I want to know is what happened in 2011, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1999. So, what's happening here that I find to be suspicious, and I would like to get, part of the reason why I would like that investigation done, is because we have a significant drop in cash assets received all of a sudden. How do you go from $1 million a year to 100,000 and nobody lost their jobs? I'm like, where the cash at? Where's that cash at? I wonder when Alfonso Ortiz got on to the Napa Sheriff's Department. I'm going to maintain focus here. There's a tremendous amount of information that I want to share with people. Please do get this information out to as many people as possible. There's a lot of fraud and illegal activity taking place in our little community. And it's not only in our community. I got my girl in Oklahoma. She went through it. Illegal persecutions, children being taken illegally, CPS, all of them families, businesses, which is completely illegal. Not saying that it's not necessary sometimes, but for the most part, it's not right. It is not right. Anybody want to come in on camera? Anybody have some questions? We answer questions. We're not afraid of nothing. Now, today, and then I'm going to close out, we had a Board of Supervisors meeting. And I just have to talk about this real quick because you can see exactly what's happening with your money. Item number, letter AK, number 22-1002, was a request for $60,000 for 6 Motorola APX 8000 walkie-talkies. They want to use the money from the 2020 Emergency Management Performance Fund. All right? I saw $6,000 on 6 walkie-talkies, so I just Googled it real quick and found out that you can get them online for $4,800. Let's say $5,000. So last I checked, 5 times 6 is 30. 30. So I'm wondering why the request for $60,000 was cleared by the Board of Supervisors, because all they do is, hey, they be passing that money. I called in and made mention of that after I heard Dr. Karen Lucio come on. I thought she was done for, but she's not. She's another one of them actors that has multiple positions in Napa, making big money. Go on in and look at that. California Transparency, type in Karen Lucio. She has multiple positions. She's getting paid. Paid. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Straight up. So today I called her out. She said, she sat down, gave her a spill. It was like, I'm here to answer questions. I was like, great. So I called in, said, hey, Dr. Karen Lucio, where are you getting this data from about COVID and the 94% chance of someone who's unvaccinated dying or being hospitalized if they're not vaccinated? How are you getting that information? Because you have to violate HIPAA in order to get a dead person's medical records. Of course, if someone has power of attorney signed and they're releasing this information to you, I'd love to see that. We know that's not happening. And then I reminded her that in 2020, we had rolled up to one of the test facilities because she was reporting between 1,000 and 2,200 tests being done per day. We recorded it for an extensive period of time. And we even interviewed a security guard that worked there. They're reporting all these tests, but we only counted 132 cars there on an average. So I asked her back then, how are you getting all these numbers? It's impossible. That was the only test facility in Napa because we went down to the one that was at the Rite Aid off Imola. That didn't even exist. So once again, it was all fraud. Calm down, Crystal, Miranda. What's up, girl? We're going to keep doing this. And once again, all fact-based, all evidence-based. Just like the district attorney says in the probation department, oh, we're utilizing evidence-based practices. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because you're violating the Brady law by not fully disclosing all the evidence in a vast majority of your cases. But we're going to be talking about that, bringing it to light, sharing all the information from the FOIA requests, from people who have been illegally prosecuted. We have transcripts, we have discovery packets, we have body-worn camera footage, we have it all. So there's not going to be the ability to deny what we're presenting. The other thing I did today, I just got to share this, it was funny. When Dr. Kara Lucia was presenting, and of course by the time she was done presenting, and I asked my 4 questions, she didn't answer any questions. She cut and dipped so quick, it was amazing. She told the Board of Supervisors that we're about to spend $1,200 a week on some water testing. I said, yeah, Board of Supervisors, this is Wendell Coleman. I want the job. I'll do it for $850. I'll go collect some water samples and bring them wherever you want for $850 a week. I'll do that, no problem. And I asked for some transparency and disclosure on why it costs $1,200 a week to do some testing. Of course, they don't ever answer any questions. They don't do anything. And there's a reason behind that. Today, when I watched the initiation of the Board of Supervisors meeting, I watched them take a pledge of allegiance to the flag. And then I looked at the flags and I realized that there were flags in there that are martial law flags. Check it out. You don't believe me? Go on ahead and go to the recorded video from the Board of Supervisors website. Do a little moving around the screen and look at the flags in there. The flag with the yellow fringe around it, okay? Jolly Roger flag. Maritime law, Admiralty law. Let's get busy. That's what they're pledging, who and what they're pledging their allegiance to, folks. What they're not disclosing to you is we are the beneficiary. They are our trustees. But that's not how it's working. They have put themselves in the position of beneficiary and trustee and using us as the slaves. Look into the Cest K Trust Act of 1666. You'll learn a lot. Look at the redemption manual. Read that. You'll learn a lot about what's going on and why these counties are structured like corporations. That's why when we go into these Board of Supervisors meetings, there's no movement. People can call in, Alfredo Pedrosa is clearly, on the take and has violated ethical procedure by getting that property around adjacent to Walt Weiner, because he's going to make some money on that. But notice how he just sits there. He's like, whatever. Why? Because they don't hear you. They don't have to hear you. It's a corporation. Napa has a Bradstreet and Dunn rating. All counties do, because they're all corporations. It's not just a county. That's why we have a CEO. Min Tran is the CEO of the corporation of Napa, and you are the servant. We are the employee. That's why they dictate down to us what's going on. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be for the people, by the people. But because they have incorporated everything, including you as an individual or citizen or person or resident, they center down your status to literally that of a slave. And look how everything works as a corporation. Who builds a city with inadequate parking and then goes around and charges people to park? That's why the police have business cards, because they're policy enforcers. They're there to collect money. This is a little bit of food for thought. All right, Jordan, what's up? It's not structured. It's structured like that for a reason. You need to learn about status. You need to learn about the difference between a citizen, a person, a resident, and a sovereign. Because we, the people, are the beneficiary, but we're not really benefiting. You could watch the proof in the pudding being made when you watch a Board of Supervisors meeting, and they're like, I. And you have 30 people going, wait a minute. $200,000 on a van for the sheriff's department? Or just like this morning, the $60,000 on 6 Motorola AX8000 walkie-talkies that I've just looked at on Amazon, brand new, for $4,800 a piece. Why are we paying double? This information is available to any and everybody. I encourage everyone to do the legwork, pay attention to what's going on, because we the people are not getting what we are just due. For the people, by the people. John F. Kennedy said, "A man who stands for nothing falls for everything." And with that, I'm out. We're going to bring in our next report in the next couple of days. Stay tuned, share with people. Find me on the Facebooks at NAPA Civil Rights Advocate. We're revamping, and we're not going to back down. You know, they could try to send me to jail or prison again. They can do whatever they want, you know. On a personal note, they know why. I didn't decide to do this. You know, you created me by taking from me unjustly. And until I'm restored, I'm going to keep doing what I do. We're going to keep doing what we do. And it's also a responsibility that we have towards one another as living beings, is to protect one another and make sure that our civil, parental, and God-given inalienable rights are maintained and held in the high regard that they were intended to. Amen. God bless. I'm out. Let's finish this.